First contact and subjugation. The Kelbrid scout ship emerged from the void just beyond Luna's orbit, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight in patterns no human eye had ever witnessed. It was 2037, and humanity had just established its first permanent base on Mars. The achievement, once considered the pinnacle of human spacefaring ambition, was rendered insignificant in an instant. General Elena Vasquez stood in Mission Control Houston, surrounded by screens displaying the alien vessel. No one spoke. The room, normally abuzz with the chatter of hundreds of engineers, analysts, and mission specialists, had fallen into a stunned silence. "Can they see us?" she finally asked. "They can see everything," replied Dr. Amit Sharma, NASA's lead xenotechnology theorist, a position created just 3 hours ago. "That vessel is broadcasting on frequencies we didn't even know existed. The energy signature alone suggests propulsion technology centuries beyond our most advanced theoretical models." The Kelbrid ship dispatched smaller vessels. Within hours, they appeared over every major capital on Earth. The message they broadcast was simple. Earth now belonged to the Kelbrid Imperium, a vast interstellar empire spanning thousands of systems. Resistance would result in planetary sterilization. High Admiral Zorik of the Imperium, an imposing figure with iridescent scales and 6 articulated limbs, addressed the United Nations. His translator device rendered his clicking speech into flawless English. "Your species has potential," Zorik announced, towering over the human delegates. "But you are children playing with dangerous toys. We have observed your nuclear weapons, your endless wars, your environmental mismanagement. The Imperium brings order to chaos. You will submit or be removed." Faced with technology that could effortlessly neutralize nuclear weapons in their silos and disable electrical grids at will, world leaders had little choice. Earth surrendered within days. The first 5 years under Kelbrid rule were devastating. Humanity was relegated to resource extraction. Earth's minerals, water, and biological diversity were systematically harvested. Millions were relocated to work camps. Advanced human technology was confiscated or destroyed. Anything beyond basic industrial capability was deemed too dangerous for a Tier 3 species. Yet even as the Kelbrid imposed their rule, they made a critical mistake. They underestimated human adaptability. In the subterranean tunnels beneath the ruins of Arnon, Dr. Eliza Chen worked feverishly. The particle accelerator had been officially decommissioned by Kelbrid decree, but sections of it remained operational, hidden from the orbital scanners by a combination of depth and improvised shielding techniques. The Kelbrid made another error, she explained to General Vasquez, now the de facto leader of Earth's unified resistance. They assigned only 4 overseers to monitor all of Europe's scientific activities. They simply cannot conceive that a primitive species could understand their technology, let alone improve upon it. What the Kelbrid failed to grasp was the unique nature of human cognition. While Kelbrid minds excelled at processing vast amounts of information and adhering to rigid structures, they lacked the creative leaps, the intuitive connections that humans took for granted. Their technological advancement had been linear, methodical, and ultimately predictable. Dr. Chen pointed to a holographic display showing the schematics of a Kelbrid phase drive. "We've been studying the components of their damaged scout vessels. Their navigation systems rely on quantum positioning that's actually quite similar to theories developed at MIT before the invasion. But they've missed something fundamental." The Resistance had discovered that Kelbrid technology operated on principles that, while advanced, were constrained by their creators' linear thinking. Human scientists, working with salvaged components and stolen data, began making breakthroughs the Kelbrid had never considered. In an abandoned salt mine in Detroit, now designated Resistance Laboratory Alpha, Dr. James Okonkwo made the crucial discovery. While examining Kelbrid energy weapons, he identified a pattern in their quantum fluctuations, a pattern that matched human brainwave activities during creative problem-solving. "It's as if their technology responds to thought patterns," he explained to a gathering of Resistance scientists. Not telepathy, exactly, but something more fundamental. Their drives, their weapons, their communications, they're all extensions of consciousness, and our brains work differently than theirs. This insight led to humanity's first major breakthrough, the neural interface. Unlike clunky Kelbrid control systems, the human version allowed for intuitive, almost instinctive control of salvaged alien technology. A pilot using the interface could operate a ship not through complex calculations, but through intention and visualization, something the rigid Kelbrid mind couldn't comprehend. By 2045, 8 years into the occupation, the Resistance had secretly constructed its first hybrid vessels. These ships, though small, incorporated human neural interfaces with modified Kelbrid technology. They were faster, more responsive, and most importantly, invisible to standard Kelbrid detection systems because they operated on principles the Kelbrid had never explored. The first test flight, conducted in the asteroid belt to avoid detection, exceeded all expectations. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, the test pilot, reported an almost supernatural connection with the vessel. "It's like the ship becomes part of you," she explained after returning. "You don't calculate a trajectory, you desire it, and the ship responds." The neural interface translates intention into action almost instantaneously. General Vasquez stood before the assembled resistance leadership, representatives from every former nation now united against their oppressors. The underground chamber, carved beneath the Himalayan mountains, hummed with anticipation. "We have proven that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, but our minds," she declared. "The Kelbrid conquered our planet, but failed to understand our potential. In their rigid thinking, they cannot conceive that we could surpass them. And that will be their undoing." She activated a holographic display showing Earth and the 50 Kelbrid command ships in orbit. "In 3 months, we launch Operation Renaissance, not just to free Earth, but to secure humanity's place among the stars." The Kelbrid believe they're facing primitive rebels with stolen technology. They have no idea they're about to confront something they've never seen before, human ingenuity unleashed. As the Resistance finalized their preparations, the Kelbrid remained oblivious. Their reports to the Imperium's Central Authority noted only minor insurgency activities, typical of newly subjugated worlds. High Admiral Zorik himself had departed the system, confident that Earth was securely under control. They had no way of knowing that beneath the surface, literally and figuratively, humanity was preparing to redefine warfare in a way that would send shockwaves across the galaxy. In a final briefing before the operation launched, Dr. Chen revealed their most powerful weapon yet, the quantum mirror, based on principles extracted from Kelbrid communication technology, but radically reimagined through human cognitive frameworks. It could briefly create a localized inversion of quantum states. In simple terms, she explained to the assault team leaders, it makes everything the Kelbrid rely on work in reverse for approximately 30 seconds. Their shields will amplify our attacks instead of blocking them. Their weapons will feed back into their own systems. Their communications will broadcast their private commands across all frequencies. Lieutenant Rodriguez, now promoted to commander of the first strike team, asked the question on everyone's mind. What happens after those 30 seconds? General Vasquez's expression was grim but determined. By then, we need to have already won. The rise of Earth's dominance. Operation Renaissance began not with a bang but with silence. At precisely 300 UTC, 50 resistance ships, each barely larger than a pre-invasion fighter jet, slipped out of hidden lunar bases. Their neural interfaces allowed pilots to intuitively navigate in perfect formation without electronic communications that might be detected. Commander Rodriguez led the Alpha Squadron toward the primary Kelbrid command vessel. Unlike traditional military hierarchies, each resistance ship operated with near autonomy, united by shared objectives rather than rigid command structures. Another concept the Kelbrid could not grasp. Quantum mirror deploying in 3 minutes, Rodriguez announced through the neural link that connected the human pilots. Remember, we'll have 30 seconds of chaos. Make them count. The first indication the Kelbrid had that something was wrong came when their long-range sensors detected unusual quantum fluctuations. By the time they recognized the pattern as potentially threatening, it was too late. The quantum mirror activated, and for 30 crucial seconds, the laws of physics seemed to turn against them. Kelbrid shields, designed to become stronger when impacted, suddenly amplified the energy of the human weapons striking them. Communication systems broadcast panic and confusion across all frequencies. Navigation systems reversed thrust commands, sending vessels colliding into one another. In those 30 seconds, 12 major Kelbrid vessels were destroyed or disabled. The resistance ships, operating on fundamentally different principles, remained unaffected by the quantum inversion. When the effect ended, the remaining Kelbrid vessels attempted to coordinate a counterattack, but they faced an enemy unlike any they had encountered in thousands of years of Imperial expansion. The human pilots, connected through their neural interfaces, adapted instantly to changing battlefield conditions. They didn't follow predetermined tactics, but instead created new strategies on the fly, their ships responding to intention as much as to explicit commands. From his flagship, Kelbrid Subcommander Thrix, the highest-ranking officer remaining in the Sol system, watched in disbelief as his forces were systematically dismantled by what should have been primitive vessels. "Impossible," he hissed to his executive officer. "Their technology is inferior. Their numbers are smaller. Their species has no significant military history compared to the Imperium." And yet, his officer replied, "They are winning." The space battle lasted less than 2 hours. On Earth's surface, coordinated resistance cells activated simultaneously, using modified Kelbrid weapons against their oppressors. The occupiers, accustomed to compliance enforced by overwhelming technological superiority, found themselves facing humans who had not only mastered their technology, but improved upon it. By dawn, Earth was effectively liberated. The few surviving Kelbrid were contained in their former administrative centers, now surrounded by human forces. Commander Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the captured Kelbrid command vessel, marveling at the technology that would now serve humanity instead of subjugating it. "What now?" she asked General Vasquez, who had joined the orbital operation after the primary objectives were secured. "Now," Vasquez replied, "we ensure this never happens again." The quantum mirror technology was quickly adapted into a defensive system surrounding Earth. The planetary shield, unlike anything in known space, could selectively invert hostile technology while allowing friendly vessels to pass unharmed. More importantly, Earth's scientists continued to advance their understanding, combining human creativity with Kelbrid technical foundations to make leaps that would have taken the aliens centuries of methodical progress. 6 months after liberation, humanity launched its first true starship, the ESS Renaissance. Unlike the hybrid vessels used in the Revolution, this ship was built from the ground up with human principles in mind. Its neural interface system allowed a crew of just 20 to operate a vessel that would have required hundreds under Kelbrid control protocols. The Renaissance's maiden voyage was not exploration but diplomacy, of a sort. It appeared unannounced in orbit around Kelbrida, the Imperium's throne world, bypassing defensive systems considered impenetrable by using quantum principles the Kelbrid had never explored. General Vasquez, now Earth's ambassador to the stars, transmitted a simple message to the shocked imperial court. "The subjugation of Earth is over. We come to negotiate terms for peace between our civilizations. Be advised that we have deployed quantum mirror technology throughout your system. We suggest you consider our proposal carefully." The Galactic Council, a loose confederation of species that had long existed in the shadow of Kelbrid dominance, watched these developments with astonishment. The Vraxians, a species known for their analytical capabilities, were the first to reach out to humanity directly. "Your achievement is unprecedented," the Vraxian emissary stated during the first formal contact. "No species has ever thrown off Kelbrid control once established, let alone advance to threaten the Imperium itself within a single standard cycle." Earth's rapid ascension from conquered world to interstellar power created shockwaves throughout known space. The Kelbrid, after initial threats of retaliation, found themselves forced to negotiate. Their rigid military doctrine had no contingency for a species that could render their technological advantages not just neutral but detrimental. Within 2 years of liberation, Earth had established diplomatic relations with 12 non-Kelbrid civilizations and secured a non-aggression pact with the Imperium itself. Human neural interface technology became highly sought after, though Earth carefully guarded its most advanced developments. The final confrontation with the Kelbrid came not through warfare but economics. Human innovation, unfettered by the linear thinking that constrained Kelbrid development, created technologies that rapidly outpaced imperial standards. Trading vessels utilizing human neural interfaces could navigate jump points with precision that made Kelbrid shipping seem cumbersome and outdated. In a desperate attempt to maintain dominance, High Admiral Zorik returned to the Sol system with the Imperium's Grand Fleet, 300 capital ships designed to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer numbers. They emerged from hyperspace to find not the expected planetary defense force, but a single vessel, the ESS Humanity, Earth's first true warship. Twice the size of the largest Kelbrid dreadnought, it represented the culmination of all humanity had learned. Admiral James Chen, brother of the scientist who had helped save Earth, transmitted a clear message. The humanity is equipped with an advanced quantum mirror system capable of affecting your entire fleet simultaneously. We can demonstrate, or you can accept that the era of Kelbrid expansion is over. The choice, Admiral Zorik, is yours. For 13 tense minutes, the Grand Fleet maintained attack positioning. Then, in a move that would forever change the galactic balance of power, Zorik ordered a withdrawal. 3 standard months later, the Kelbrid Imperium formally recognized Earth's sovereignty and its right to expand into unclaimed systems. The Galactic Council, sensing the shift in power, invited Earth to join as a full member, an honor never before extended to a species with less than a century of interstellar presence. In the newly constructed council chambers on Luna, representatives from 73 spacefaring civilizations gathered to witness Earth's formal induction. General Vasquez, now in her 60s but still commanding respect across known space, addressed the assembly. "Humanity doesn't seek dominance," she stated, her voice carrying across the chamber. "We sought only freedom, then security. But we've learned that in this galaxy, respect comes from strength. Earth's military capabilities exist not for conquest, but to ensure that what happened to us never happens to us again, or to any peaceful civilization seeking its place among the stars." The Vraxian counselor, speaking after Vasquez, offered perhaps the most telling assessment. The galaxy has always known predator and prey species. The Kelbrid imagined humans as prey, only to discover they had captured an apex predator in its infancy. What makes Earth truly dangerous is not their technology or their military doctrine, but something more fundamental. They do not think as we do. And in that difference lies both peril and promise for our shared future. As humanity expanded outward, establishing colonies and trade routes, their reputation grew. Earth vessels became known for their innovative designs and the almost supernatural coordination of their crews. Earth Marines, with neural interfaces connecting them in combat, moved with a synchronicity that made even veteran Kelbrid warriors hesitate. Yet despite their military prowess, humans became most valued for their creative problem-solving. When a dimensional rift threatened the Arcturian colonies, it was Earth scientists who developed the containment field that saved billions of lives. When the ancient quantum drives of the Melnaran fleet began catastrophically failing, human engineers redesigned the systems in weeks, accomplishing what Melnaran specialists had deemed impossible. A century after first contact, Earth had established itself not just as a military power to be respected and feared, but as an essential member of the galactic community. Human neural interface technology had revolutionized everything from space travel to medicine, creating new possibilities that rigid Kelbrid thinking could never have conceived. And throughout known space, a saying became common among spacers of all species. There are three constants in the universe: entropy, light speed, and human ingenuity. And two of those have exceptions.